And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, wherever you are in the world. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaskar. And welcome to another episode of New Earth TV Live. So, of course, we have a full 2 hours here today on the webcast. We're going to be going over a guided meditation, doing some inner practices, doing some distance healing. That includes a group healing as well, too. Then we're going to get into Q&A, and to wrap everything up, we'll have a message from Spirit. So that will be the outline of today's webcast. But before we go ahead and get started, we're going to start off firstly with some announcements. Beautiful, sacred geometrical clothing, apparel, and accessories imbued with spirit source energy to heal, rejuvenate, detoxify, and strengthen the body. Shop now at healingcodeshop.com.
The latest revelation in alternative healing has arrived. The Healing Code Cards, a spiritual technology unlike anything else. Through the power of sacred geometry imbued with pure source energy, physical ailments can become eliminated and detoxified from your body. 36 cards specifically designed to work on the major areas of the body, encouraging natural recovery and increased vitality. Working with the cards are easy, and their healing results are profound. Download our collection of free sample cards so you can experience results for yourself. And don't forget to view our customer testimonials. Our printed Healing Code card deck is available now with shipping available worldwide. Visit our website at healingcodecards.com.
And of course, 3-question private email sessions are still available for the month of September. So if you're interested in booking, I'm completely all booked up for the 1-to-1 private sessions. I am actually thinking of maybe bringing the private sessions back maybe in November. All right, because I'm still getting some requests from people who may want to have conversations with me. So I'm just probably going to take a little break, maybe just for the month of October. I mainly just wanted to take a little bit of a break just to focus on the Healing Code app that I'm developing right now. But again, I might bring the 1-to-1 private sessions back around the time of November. So I'll keep you guys in the loop with that, with more information to come. But in the meantime, you can go ahead and grab a 3-question private email session. Again, you can go to newearthteachings.com. They are done offline, and they're personal MP3 recordings that you get by email as you ask 3 questions. So go ahead and check that out, newearthteachings.com. And new exciting information is the Infinite Intelligence Report is going to be coming back. So the next episode will be this Sunday for the Infinite Intelligence Report, and it's going to be every second Sunday after that at the same time. So I felt it was time to bring the Infinite Intelligence Report back, because I'm not doing the Thursday broadcasts anymore, and I have a little bit of time on the weekend, so it gives me a good amount of time to work with a report. So the Infinite Intelligence Reports, it works personally with Spirit, based upon certain questions that I receive commonly from people, and we kind of look at a higher perspective of current events and other things that may be taking place on the planet, helping you to get insight on how to ground, how to empower yourself during these times, and great advice and great guidance and nurturing guidance as well too, that will help you navigate yourself through these intense times that are ahead. So look forward to the Infinite Intelligence Report taking place this Sunday. I also have a video coming out this afternoon. It's not the Infinite Intelligence Report, but it's a very powerful video that's going to be coming out later this afternoon on the YouTube channel. So again, looking forward to the Infinite Intelligence Report, and it is going to be bi-weekly, every second Sunday. And of course, all videos on the New Earth Teachings channel is backed up on the Odyssey channel. So again, you can find this link in the video description as well too. Odyssey.com/@newearthteachings. All videos are backed up on Odyssey. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started with today's broadcast. Hello, everybody. Again, I'm already getting some questions for Q&A, so we're going to be doing Q&A on the second hour, as it's 11:06 a.m. Pacific time right now, at around 12 p.m. Pacific today. We're going to be getting into Q&A, so it'll just be under our next hour. First thing we're going to do today is the guided meditation, then we're going to move on to some inner practices, then we're going to do some healing, then we'll get into the question and answer time. So, again, thank you guys for posting your questions. We will get to that very shortly. Even with healing requests as well too, you're welcome to post them now if you like. And like I said, we'll get to them once we get to that segment. So the first thing we're going to do is our guided meditation today. And this guided meditation is called the Astral Forest. So I'm looking forward to sharing this really unique guided meditation with all of you right now. So all I want you to do at this moment is just let yourself relax. If you're deciding to lay down on a couch or lay down on a bed, you can do that as well too. Otherwise, you can just sit in a chair, or you can sit with your legs folded, cross-legged if you like. Just getting yourself nice and comfortable. You can just take a moment to look at the view here of the Astral Forest, because you're going to be exploring an Astral Forest today, and it's going to be unique for each and every one of you as you explore the Astral Forest. So go ahead now and close your eyes, making sure your spine is nice and straight, or making sure you're nice and comfortable if you're laying down. And we're just going to take 3 deep cleansing breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. And just let yourself relax and breathe normally. Breathing normally and relaxing. And just feel yourself in void. Just feel yourself with your eyes closed. You're just looking at the void behind the eyelids, the chittakash, as we call it. And now, just through your imagination, I want you to imagine like you're just leaving the physical body right now. Your astral body is floating in the void. And as soon as your astral body touches the ground of the void, you are seeing the space immediately change into an astral forest. So you're seeing your astral body surrounded now by a beautiful and lush astral forest. Just looking all around you, turning around 360 degrees, and just seeing a gorgeous, beautiful, wonderful, amazing, lush forest that surrounds you. And as you look around, you see that there are 2 pathways before you. There is a pathway on the left, and there is a pathway on the right. The pathway on the left, its ground represents that of sparkling golden energy. When you look at the pathway on the right, its ground represents that of sparkling platinum and silver energy. And so you are looking at both pathways, and you are deciding now which pathway you shall walk. Do you decide to walk down the golden pathway, or do you decide to walk down the silver and platinum pathway? The choice is yours. Make the decision now. Now that you have chosen your pathway, go ahead and walk down that pathway right now. And you're going to see everything unfold based on the pathway that you have chosen to walk. You will notice that the environment may start to change because of the pathway that you have chosen. You may notice new sights and new sounds. You may see new visuals coming together. Everything shifts as you walk down your particular pathway. The forest starts to change. But regardless of the pathway that you have chosen, as you continue to walk down this pathway, you will find a well directly in front of you. A well made of stone, where you approach it and you see that it has a bucket directly next to it, a wooden bucket. And as you look into the well starts to bring up these beautiful sparkles of light, luminous light. Just be aware of the type of light that you see. Be aware of the amount of light that you see, because it is different for each person. As you look into the well, you see these sparkles of light coming up. And these sparkles of light give you a hint of saying, lower the bucket and put it into the well. Something will be inside the bucket for you to retrieve. And so beside the well, you see the bucket with a rope tied at the end of the well. And this rope doesn't seem to have any form of ending. It appears to be finite, but you can bring the bucket down into the well as deeply as you wish, and the rope will continue to grow and grow and grow, all based on how deeply you want to bring the bucket into the well. So see yourself picking up the bucket right now, knowing that the bucket has the rope firmly attached to its handle, and slowly start to lower the bucket into the well. See yourself lowering the bucket more and more, deeper and deeper. And if you wish to go even more deeper, you will see the rope growing. You will see the rope expanding. It will get longer and longer, all based on how deep you want to bring the bucket into the well. And just continue to lower the bucket. And you will suddenly notice that there is a tug taking place. You feel a tug on the rope. You feel a tug on the bucket. Something is now inside the bucket. And now that you feel that tug, you are now taking the rope and pulling the bucket back up. You are pulling the rope, bringing the bucket back up to the surface. And you will notice that as the bucket returns, there is a lid placed upon it. A lid is placed upon the bucket as something is inside. As you retrieve the bucket right now, putting it on the edge of the well, I will now count to 3. And when I count to 3, you will remove the lid and see what is inside that bucket. 1, 2, 3. Opening up the lid and seeing what is inside the bucket. And you will notice that there is an object contained inside the bucket. Just be aware of what that object is. Feel free to examine it for a moment. Everybody will have something different. Even if you do not understand what the object is, you are aware of what it represents. And so what we're going to do is we're going to keep this object for safekeeping. And so what I want you to do is I want you to imagine that a small portal is opening up just to your right. And this is referred to as dimensional storage. We are going to take that object and we're just going to put it inside the portal. It is a pocket dimension that functions as a storage for yourself. So just putting that object now inside the portal, inside your dimensional pocket, and watching that dimensional pocket dimension seal up. Now that we have concluded our business with the well, we are going to continue to move on. But we notice that 2 other paths have now opened up past the well. One that moves diagonally to the left, and another that moves diagonally to the right. As we look at both paths, both of these pathways seem a little darker than the previous pathways. The one on the left has a little bit more of a twilight feeling with it. The one on the right also has a feeling of twilight, but also has a greater concentration of nature upon it. The left feels a lot more open and spacious, although it is moving into the twilight. The right has much more nature concentration, which is also within the twilight. Which path do you choose to walk? Decide now. And now let yourself continue to walk down the path that you have chosen, whether you have chosen the left or the right path. And just be aware of how the forest responds to you as you have walked down the path of your choosing. Remember that you are completely safe, that no harm will ever come to you through this meditation. But just be aware of how the forest reacts to you as you walk down your chosen path. Be aware of how the sights and the sounds of the forest may change. Be aware of how you feel as you walk down your chosen path. And as you continue to walk, you see in the distance that there is an object laying on the ground. You cannot quite make it out. It does feel like it is quite shiny, though. And so you approach the object that is shining in the distance, drawing closer and closer. And you will see that as you get closer, the object on the ground represents that of a silver compass. A large silver compass, an old-fashioned handheld compass. And you pick up the compass, and you open up the cover, and you see this magnificent compass, very well crafted, very smooth to the touch, an almost etheric nature to it, as it feels both physical and ethereal at the same time. And you decide to use this compass. Find out where it is attempting to point to you. Where is it telling you to move? As you look at the compass needle, as you see it moving, either north or east or south or west, the needle that it points to, you will see a pathway open. So if it is pointing to the north, you will see a pathway opening up to the north. The same with the east or the south or the west. Whichever pathway you decide to walk from this point on is entirely up to you. The north, the east, the south, or the west, to which the compass itself is pointing you. And so let yourself follow the compass needle right now and walk down the path that it is pointing to you. And again, just be aware of the sights and the sounds of the forest as you walk down this particular path. Be aware of how you feel within yourself as you walk down this path. And as you continue to venture down this path, in the distance you see a flight of stairs. A flight of stairs placed directly in the middle of the forest. Depending on the pathway that you have chosen, these flight of stairs will look different to each person. They could be wooden, they could be metal, they could be made from stone, they could be made of light. It all depends. But however you feel relating to the stairwell, regardless of how it's made of, this stairwell is personally available for you. As you approach the stairwell, you see that the stairwell goes up, further and further upwards, and it moves further up into the sky. This is the indication of how you will handle your journey of personal ascension, your elevation. As you expand your awareness, as you expand yourself, as you move yourself into the thinning of ignorance and into the arrival of realization. This is what this stairwell itself represents. A flight of stairs that takes you all the way up into the higher heaven. Go ahead now and place your foot upon the first step. And you will now notice that the stairs are moving by themselves, very similar to like an escalator. And it is moving you further upwards into the sky. As it moves you upwards, you are seeing these transformations of the forest, seeing how the forest metamorphosizes as you move up beyond it, seeing how the sky is changing as you move closer to the sky, seeing how you are changing as you continue to elevate yourself up this escalator of stairs. You are seeing how your body is changing. You are seeing how your emotions are changing. You are seeing how your mentality and behavior is changing. As you continue to move further upwards towards the sky, you are able to see your reflection along the walls that are now manifesting themselves upon the sky. Walls of mirrors surrounding you as you continue to make the ascent up through the escalator. And now you're able to take a look at yourself through the mirrors that surround you and see how you are changing. See how your body is becoming more healthy. See how your mind is becoming more clear. See how you are moving into a greater state of maturity. And you can see it through the mirror. And now you are reaching closer and closer to the top, to where the flight of stairs ends. And as you reach the top, you will see glass panes directly ahead of you that represent the flooring, like you're walking completely on glass. Although as you place your feet upon this glass pane, it appears more like crystal than glass. It is polished, transparent crystal, in fact, that you are walking upon. And you see this crystal catwalk leading to a temple that seems to be floating in the middle of the sky. And as you look up at the temple, it shows your name carved at the very top of the temple. And so continuing to walk down the catwalk, walking into this temple that has your own name carved at the top of it. As you enter the temple, you will see just a feeling of great beauty. Everything regarding the temple visually feels divine, feels powerful, feels absolutely blissful as soon as you step into the temple. And at the center of the temple is a pervading light that does not seem to have an origin point, for it simply shines down, going all the way down to the bottom. And as you look up, it is all the way at the top. There is no end or beginning to this light. And as you approach this pillar of light, you are reminded right now to go back into your pocket dimension and take out the object that you received at the well. Seeing that portal opening up to your right, taking out that object, holding that object in your hands, and placing it directly into the pillar of light. The light now absorbs that object, and with a subtle and peaceful voice, it tells you this object represented a secret that was buried within you that has now come to the surface. And now this secret will be revealed to you as you feel it from the inside. And now the pillar of light encourages you to hold out your hands, just like you're cupping your hands, ready to receive a gift from the pillar. The pillar hands you an orb of light in between your hands. And if you look deeply enough, you can understand what this ball of light represents. It is a secret that has been buried within you that will then reveal itself within the short time ahead. Taking that orb now that has now been purified and refined by the pillar of light, and placing that orb of light inside your heart. And let that pillar of light's orb fill your heart with this luminous energy. And through the heart, feel that light expanding throughout the entire nervous system, moving all the way up to the brain, illuminating the brain as well. And now feeling your entire body just becoming luminous from this orb. A secret that was kept very, very deeply at the bottom of yourself, that has now been retrieved and has now been purified and refined, will be revealed to you within the short time ahead. Know that this temple represents the temple of your own higher self. Know that the light itself represents infinite intelligence, and that the object that was brought in at the bottom of the well that you have retrieved was indeed that secret that was left dormant and buried into the depths of yourself that is now going to be coming into the light. The pathways that you experience through this meditation represent your journey ahead to discover that secret of yourself, and how you appreciate the journey, or how you may have apprehension towards the journey. The journey of discovering yourself. The journey of understanding the depths of who you are, and discovering secrets that you are now willing to bring into the light. For that is what the Astral Forest Meditation journey here signifies. Following the compass that represents your higher self guidance, and you're trusting to walk down that path to where the compass points you, indicates your trust in the higher self working together in oneness with you. Moving up the ascent of the stairwell, the escalator, and seeing yourself change as you move up the ascent to purification and transformation. And then discovering the higher self temple, placing the secret object into the light to purify and refine it and crystallize it so that it can now become one with you, so that that secret can be consciously revealed in the short time ahead. Remember that this space lives inside of you, and at any time you can return to the astral forest to allow another journey to come forward, to enable another secret to be brought forward to you. And see your astral body now sitting down at the temple, staring at the beautiful pillar of light. And as you look at it, you're seeing the entire space now starting to fade back into the darkness of the void, the Chittakash. As you now return to the void, and your astral body is now returning back into the physical body, merging back to the physical body, and just letting yourself now do gentle movements, starting to rotate the wrists, rotate the shoulders, curl the toes, fluttering the eyes, just bringing back very subtle and soft movements into the physical body. As you bring yourself slowly back into awakening, returning back in fully into the physical body and into the present moment. And when you are ready, you can open your eyes and return. And thank you very much, everybody, for joining me with the Astral Forest Meditation. I hope you're going to enjoy your secret that's going to be revealed to you here very shortly, right? It could be within the next 24 hours, next 48 hours, next 72 hours, but something that will basically catch your attention within yourself is going to be revealed, okay? This is given to you by your own higher self. This is given to you by the infinite intelligence. So this is why we make these guided meditation journeys very interactive, so that you have the ability to choose the path that you walk, and you get the greatest reward as you see what these symbolisms, metaphors, and analogies are attempting to tell you. So you can always continue to use this meditation any chance you want, anytime you want, I should say, so that you can, again, explore more and more gifts through this beautiful journey that will be revealed to you. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. So the next thing we're going to do today, and I'm glad you guys were enjoying the meditation. Thank you very much. Evil Pole was saying this is one of the best guided meditations in my experience. We're all on an amazing journey. Absolutely. Wonderful. Thank you guys for joining me with it. So we're going to start off with some inner practices, and then we're going to go into some healing. All right, so let me just go ahead and change the window here. There we go. I know I had a garbage truck outside, so I had to kind of pause. It's getting some noisy garbage trucks in the background there. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is some inner practices. So what we're going to do today is we're going to work a little bit more with the heart rate variability breathing. Okay, we're going to work a little bit more with Hakalau as well too, and just helping you to, again, expand yourself and just being still in the present moment. That's really the entire purpose of the inner practices, is to get ourselves calm and relaxed, because heart rate variability brings you into the low, subtle state of being, where you're becoming a lot more in alignment with the subtlety of your being. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a breath pattern of 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out, just through the nose, in and out. Okay? So again, just get yourself nice and comfortable, making sure the spine is nice and straight, neck is nice and straight as well too. With your eyes closed, we'll do some heart rate variability breaths. We're going to do a total of 10 of them. So inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And in, 2, 3, 4. And out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And in, 2, 3, 4. And out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And in, 2, 3, 4. And out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And in, 2, 3, 4. And out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And in, 2, 3, 4. And out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And in, 2, 3, 4. And out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And in, 2, 3, 4. And out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And in, 2, 3, 4. And out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And in, 2, 3, 4. And out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And relax. And just taking a moment right now, doing those 10 heart rate variability breaths, and just be aware of how you're feeling. Be aware of how light you're feeling. Be aware of how calm and relaxed you're feeling, as heart rate variability balances out the beating of the heart, balances out your rhythm, is oxygenating and activating and stimulating your parasympathetic nervous system. And now just opening your eyes. And now we're going to take the 2 index fingers, just put them together like this. Okay. We're going to slowly start to separate them. So the left index finger and the right index finger are right at the edge of your peripheral vision. So we're just keeping them in our peripherals. Even though we're looking directly ahead, we're bringing our awareness to the 2 index fingers, like the pillars of our target awareness here. Just be aware, as you look ahead, of your peripherals. And now you can place the hands down. And now you're just being aware of the peripherals without the fingers there. So as you look ahead, your awareness is at the peripherals. And now what we're going to do is we're going to stimulate the senses. So now, just taking in everything that you smell now. Moving to the ears and taking in everything that you're hearing now. Moving to the mouth and taking in everything that you taste now. And now moving to the skin and just taking in everything that you are touching now. And now that we have stimulated all of the senses, I want you to take in everything that you see, smell, taste, touch, and hear now, all at once. Don't try to think about it, just let it happen. And relax. So what you are experiencing here is learning to be completely still. You're working with your senses and just being aware of them, doing one sense organ at a time. And then when we do all at once, we're just completely aware of our surroundings. We're completely aware of everything within our space, and we're aware of ourselves. This is helping us to be trained to move ourselves into the quiet, into the stillness, into the subtlety, and into the surrender of our own being. And this is what's going to help you to move much more deeper into beingness, where your mind is not going a mile a minute, where you're not getting these constant chattering thoughts, because your awareness is being used to work with understanding and flowing with the senses, especially as you do all 5 senses at the same time. The final exercise we're going to do with inner practices is I want you to feel like you have 360-degree vision, that you're able to see behind yourself without turning your head. Okay? So just looking ahead. Now I want you to be aware of what is beside you, to your left and to your right. Now I want you to be aware of what's completely behind you without moving a muscle. Be aware of what is beside you and behind you without moving a muscle. And with that 360-degree view, I want you to be aware of just what is around you in your nearby surroundings, between your physical body and about the 10 feet forward. So looking kind of at about a 10-foot radius, in front, beside, and behind you, within that 10-foot radius. Just be aware of everything that's there. Good. Now we're going to move into far distance. We're going to be aware of what is ahead of us 100 feet away. So I want you just to imagine like you're drawing an imaginary line, and it's going 100 feet forward. And it's creating a circumference of a circle. And you are going to be aware of what is within your center range between your body and 100 feet all around you in that circle. Do this now. Don't think about it. Just be aware. And deep breath in. And relax. Okay. So that is a very powerful technique that you can work with. The Hawaiians refer to this as hakalau. Okay? So it's basically awareness. It's working on expanding your awareness and not relying on just the physical senses. You're using awareness as the one true sense. The awareness is the sense, right? We have the physical senses here in the body. We even have our psychic senses here as well too, but we're not even really using those. We're going beyond that, and our true sense is awareness. So again, looking around the circumference of 10 feet ahead of you and all around you, then looking at the circumference of 100 feet ahead of you and all around you, and just feeling with awareness. The more that you're doing this, the more that you're actually going to be aware of people and objects, things, animals, for example, that are actually well within your distance, maybe like 30, 40, 50 kilometers, or 30, 40, 50 feet away, I should say, and you can actually feel them, right? This is building up potency. So you'll actually be aware of 10 feet or 100 feet in circumference, and you can even move beyond that. You can look at it a mile away. You can actually start to feel things that are about a mile away from you in your circumference of awareness. Right? So as you continue to build this up, this is not in that sense being psychic at all. This is you being completely adeptly aware. So the more that we practice this every day with the idea of Hakalau, and again, like I said, working with your senses to quiet the mind, and then we start working with expanding the circumference of that awareness circle. Like I said, you could do it all the way up to a mile away, and you can feel people a mile away because you are tuning into your awareness, and your awareness is getting stronger and stronger. Not so much the awareness, but your perception of awareness is getting stronger and more potent, and you're actually able to feel people that are hundreds of kilometers away, right? All depends on how far you want to go. This is the power. This is the ability that you naturally have. We just have to build up on it. It's just like learning how to ride a bike. It's like learning how to cook. It's like learning how to practice karate, kung fu, right? We just continue to practice. It's like going to the gym, building up our muscles every single day. We just continue to practice. And then you are now being completely aware of the entire world. Now your awareness can span thousands and thousands of miles, and you're able to take in certain things that may interest you through awareness. That's how beautiful and how brilliant and how powerful this is. So, keep practicing. Okay? Thank you, everybody, for again joining me with, again, the meditation and the inner practices. We're now going to go ahead and move on into healing. So I think because we have maybe about 12 minutes before we get into Q&A, I'm going to take maybe about 3 personal requests, then we'll do a group healing, and then we'll get into Q&A after that. Okay? So let me just go through the list. And again, hello, everybody. Let's go ahead and move on to live chat now. And let's see if we have any healing requests here. So just 3 people for today, and then we'll do a group healing. Okay? All right, so let's go to J. Rose. J. Rose says, hello from Florida. I'd like to request healing for my husband Bob's diabetes. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to do this a little bit quickly, but again, the result will still be very effective. So I'm basically going to be doing what's known as the spirit ball. Okay, so I'm going to be working together, J. Rose, for your husband Bob's diabetes. So we're basically going to function on the pancreas, and we're going to focus on the liver for his healing today. Okay, so I'm just going to call in Bob's higher self now to be present with me. Okay, he is present with me. And now I'm just looking into his organs. Okay, I think we could also include the stomach as well too. His stomach is very much out of shape. It's pretty damaged. Yeah, his liver definitely needs help. His pancreas needs help. His kidneys as well too needs help. Okay. So we're basically just going to do all of those simultaneously. Okay? So I'm just going to take the spirit ball here. I'm going to place that into his stomach. Place that into his liver. Place that into his pancreas. And place both of these into his kidneys. And we will begin the healing. Release. I'm now shrouding Bob with a spirit ball that encompasses his entire body and just revitalizing his body with living prana. Converting that into kinetic energy. Apply. And now to Bob's higher self, just expanding the hands and just saying aloud, God is making me better and better. God is making me better and better. God is making me better and better. Placing the hands in prayer posture. Love and appreciation. Bob, you are pure. You are perfect. You are divine. Namaskar. Okay. Thank you, Jay, for again the request. So again, talk to your husband, Bob, as well, too. Make sure he's eating well, okay? He's had a lot of damage in the stomach, right? I think a lot of the glands in the stomach are pretty damaged. They're going to be cleared up, of course, but it's just good to maintain that, right? We don't want to have to go back into those repeating patterns. So make sure he's eating well, making sure he's just taking good care of his organs, right? Maybe doing some flushes as well, too. Liver flushes, kidney flushes, intestinal flush, I think will also help him as well. Colon cleansing. Okay. Blessings to you both. Thank you very much. Okay. So we'll move on to our second volunteer here. Okay, this one here is from Noreen. Noreen says, "Good morning, Brad, from Australia. May I request healing for my diabetes as well, too?" Okay, so Noreen, you also have diabetes. So Noreen, all I want you to do right now is just get nice and relaxed, nice and comfortable, making sure your spine is nice and straight. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. Okay, and Noreen, I just want you to feel an astral hand being placed upon your heart right now. Okay, just so as you see my hand here on the heart, I want you just to imagine that my hand astrally is doing that to your heart right now. Okay, this is helping me to tune into you. Yeah, Noreen, you have a great deal of stress. There's a lot of tension in the organs. There's a lot of tension in the joints, in the tendons, in the muscles as well too. There's a lot of tension in you, okay? You have to learn to start working with these particular exercises that I'm suggesting to you, okay? I'd also suggest you work with prana transmission technique and BCR, okay? You're almost like a bundle of nerves here, okay? So again, this is what eventually brings us into diabetic states, right? There's too much stress, there's too much worry, there's too much panic, right? And so you've basically been feeling very kind of tense, very stressful. Okay, it almost feels like a vice. It's just kind of clamping down on you here. Okay, so again, we'll start to work with the stomach, the liver, the pancreas, the kidneys as well too. And again, when I put the ball around you, we'll just try and relieve a lot of that tension energy. Okay, but let's work with prana transmission technique. Let's work with BCR technique. You can find those in the playlists of my YouTube channel. Okay, prana transmission, BCR technique. Okay, we want to do some releasing work here. So, through the spirit ball here, place one here in the stomach, into your liver, into your pancreas, into your kidneys. Okay. So Noreen, just let yourself relax as we begin. Okay, now I'm just covering the spirit ball all around you now, Noreen. Okay, very good. And so, Noreen, just go ahead and moving your hands and stretching them out as far as you can. And once you stretch them out, we're just going to bring them back slowly, and you're just saying either in your mind or out loud, God is making me better. 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 Okay? Just placing your hands in the center. You are pure. You are perfect. You are divine. Infinite blessings to you. Namaskar. Okay. Very good. So thank you very much, Noreen. So again, really work with those practices. Eat well as well too, making sure you're having a good organic diet, but most importantly, de-stressify yourself and do some releasing. Okay, that's going to help you out majorly. All right. Thank you, Noreen. All right. So the third and final person, then we're going to get into a group healing. Final person here is Heidi. Heidi says, I would like to ask for healing for my neuropathy that I got after chemo for breast cancer. Okay, so Heidi, yes, we'll do that now. So Heidi, what I want you to do right now, again, is just get yourself nice and comfortable, making sure the spine is nice and straight. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out. Okay, feel an astral hand being placed upon your heart right now. Yeah, it's definitely been some chemical saturation around the nerves, around a lot of the tissues, around the chest as well too. Okay. Fortunately, it's not too bad around the organs, but there is still some there. Okay, it's mostly in that sense concentrated around the surface. There is a little bit of debris around like the heart as well too. Okay, around the lungs also. Just a lot of the tissues as well too we want to concentrate on. So we're basically just kind of creating the entire healing to take place around the entirety of the chest. Okay, so around the breasts, around the mammary glands, around the tissues, around the heart, around the lungs as well too, even around the rib cage also. Okay, so I'm just going to put a spirit ball there now into that area. Okay, Heidi, just let yourself relax. Okay, Heidi, I'm just putting a large spirit ball around your entire body now. Okay, bringing that living prana into your body and just releasing any tension, any debris, any impurities that will just excrete themselves and being held into the ball. Okay, Heidi, just taking your hands out now and just stretching them out far and wide as they can go. And then just slowly bringing them back in, saying again, in your mind or out loud, God is making me better. 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 Okay, just placing your hands there now. Heidi, you are divine, you are pure, you are perfect. Infinite blessings to you. Namaskar. Okay. Thank you, Heidi. So again, it's good to take some iodine as well too, right? Just making sure you're taking some good iodine doses, good sized doses, right? Daily doses are good as well. I would also suggest just doing a big cleanse of yourself also. Cleansing the organs, right? Clearing away a lot of that debris also, okay? Mineral salts and water as well too. Doing a little bit of a flush for yourself, and even just adding some mineral salts in your food as well too. That will also help. Like I said, iodine will also help you as well too. You may also want to look into structured silver also, okay? So the one structured silver product I recommend is thankyousilver.com, okay? So just getting one of their bottles and just having about 1 to 2 teaspoons of that silver solution each day. And that too also helps with cleaning things up. But most importantly, let's work with consciousness. That's the most greatest cure there is, okay? So prana transmission, BCR, okay? Thank you, Heidi. Okay, everybody, so now we're going to do a group healing, then we're going to go into Q&A. Okay, so for group healing, what I'm basically going to do is I'm just going to be putting a gigantic spirit ball around everybody, okay? Now, if you guys have a request for a loved one or a friend that you want to include in this, you're going to get it as well, too. But if you have a friend, just being able to think of them in spirit and just have their presence with you at the same time, okay? So I'm just going to put you guys etherically into a giant spirit ball. And we're just going to extract any imperfections within the bodies and release that together. Okay? So guys, again, just get yourselves nice and comfortable, nice and relaxed. Okay, making sure the spine is nice and erect. Just taking a deep breath in. Deep breath out. Okay. Now is the time if you also want to dedicate this healing practice to a friend or a relative or a loved one. Okay? Just think of them, just imagine that they're present with you and that they too are receiving this also. Okay? So just placing your hands upon the center of your chest right now. And I want you to feel like there is an astral hand just being placed here and you're just placing your hands over it. Okay? So my astral hand is placed on every single person that's doing this with me right now. Okay? And you're just placing your hands over that astral hand, okay? And again, just let yourself relax. I'm now just bringing the spirit ball and intending to place every single person that is participating with this healing practice to have themselves encased within this perfect spirit ball here and now. Okay, and I want you just to think of anything that's giving you difficulty right now, whether it's something physical, whether it's something emotional, whether it's something mental, something that you're willing to surrender. Okay? And you're going to feel that going into the spirit ball. So just feel that thing, whatever that thing is, that you're willing to surrender physically, emotionally, mentally, and just give it into the ball. Just put it inside the spirit ball. Inside the spirit ball is perfection. And so that perfection is flowing into your body right now. And everything that you have identified as imperfection is excreting itself out of your body right now, along with that one thing that you're ready and willing to surrender. So you're feeling everything that represents impurity being excreted out of the body, along with that one thing that you're now taking out of yourself and just putting inside the ball. And when I count to 3, each of us will all snap our fingers together, saying release. And when that happens, you will feel everything that has been excreted, as well as that one thing that you have now surrendered, disappear. When I count to 3, 1, 2, 3, release. Great job, guys. I can feel it. Really good job. You guys did well. I can just feel like this echo, this ricocheting just throughout everybody who's present here. Okay, even if you're watching this on recording, I can feel you too. There is no time, there is only now. Great job, everybody. Okay, so let's bring our hands out nice and wide. Okay, as wide, far apart as we can. And we're going to slowly bring them back in, and we're saying either in our mind or out loud, God is making me better. 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 Hands in prayer posture. Each and every one of you are divine, are pure, are perfect. Infinite blessings to you all. Namaskar. Okay, we can come back now into the present moment. How's everybody feeling? How was that experience for you? All right. You guys can let me know in the chat. I'm just going to take a moment. Just give me 1 minute, guys. I'm just going to go get some more water. I'll be back here in just 1 minute. Thank you. Okay, so thank you guys for giving me a minute. Okay. So Christine says, feeling glorious. Thank you, Spirit, for a chance to start again. Very good. Thank you, thank you. Jasmine says, the healing was so powerful. Jaden says, I feel great. Elena says, feeling better and very relaxed. George says, that was wonderful, felt great. I could feel the release. Great job. Kathleen says, thank you, Brad. God bless you for, okay, thank you for that. Naren says, feeling very good, perfect. Lily says, it was beautiful. Great, guys. I'm glad you, again, were just coming along with me and sharing in the healing journey. Because like I said, we do this every Friday. I like to try and give you guys new things when I can, but if I know something works, it might be the same old pattern, but again, it's the same old pattern if it continues to work. Okay. Thank you, guys. Great. Awesome. So we will go ahead now and begin Q&A time. So again, if you guys do have questions for me, you can just put that in the chat. And again, if you do donate, then that will put you in the front of the line pertaining to your question. So if you do have a donation, that will bring you into first priority for questions. Okay. That's just an option for you guys, but I just go down the list and we see what's happening. So I'm going to go right to the very top here because Mary Gilling had a very interesting question here. And she asked right now, hi, Brad, anything happening on the moon? So what I'm going to do first about the moon question is we're going to look into the tarot first, and I'll see if I can tap in and see if there's anything else in regards to what's happening on the moon right now. So basically we'll just ask about what's happening on the moon, I'd say pertaining to the counter forces and pertaining to the presences on the moon. How are things going on the moon right now? What's taking place on the moon right now? Okay, and we'll take a look at that through the tarot and see what we got. Yeah, there's a lot of quarantining, I would say, that's kind of happening on the moon right now. What that means is that there's a lot of shifting, right? The moon itself is being completely remade and is under new management, okay? So there's new owners that have taken over the moon right now. Good guys, you could say, the counter forces, okay? And they're basically rejecting, pushing off a lot of the old inhabitants, right? The old inhabitants are actually being kicked off the moon, right? So they're going to be going elsewhere. So the entire moon right now is going through a major cleansing of its own. It's kind of like a quarantine as well too, right? So again, a lot of the counter forces, a lot of the human counter forces, the human guardians, as I've referred to them, are cleaning house right now. So there's definitely some big changes that are taking place. There's definitely some overhauls taking place as well too. The old guard is being removed. In the near future, we're seeing some celebration coming together here. So I think we're going to be going through some very significant changes, and that also includes a lot of the bombarding relating to frequencies that the moon has been casting upon the earth for quite some time. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to tap in and just let Spirit share some information regarding the moon. Everything that's taking place on the moon right now is all part of a greater transformation to come, and they are working together in synchronicity with the shifting of what's taking place here on the earth. So the moon and the earth are being equally coordinated together to assist in a greater transformation that is taking place. Everything that has represented weaponization of the moon is being dismantled as we speak. A lot of the previous agents and old guard, as it were, that have basically occupied the moon are being removed. There is a great deal of populations that live within the moon and upon the moon, on the surface and inside the moon at the same time, well within the many millions. And a lot of these inhabitants, in that sense, have been onlookers pertaining to humanity, as well as living their own life on the moon. The moon is not at all what you see it to be. It is very habitable. It is not a dead rock in space. It is a habitable sphere. It does have an atmosphere. It does have cities. It also has cities inside the moon. The moon itself, because it has been somewhat artificialized, the interior of the moon has been hollowed out, for it is functioning much more as a spacecraft conveyance, more than the idea of just a simple celestial body. But there has been a lot of hollowing out of the moon, and a lot of that hollowing out has also been in relationship to mining operations that have happened within this planetoid for quite some time, going back many thousands or even millions of years. So it has been basically seen as a hollow body with artificial construct inside. But there are vaults contained inside the moon that house many different civilizations. Approximately 40 or so different civilizations once occupied the moon. There may be that same amount of number, but they will be of different civilizations to come. The moon, in time, will be something that will be given to humanity. The moon that you see upon the sky right now is not going anywhere. It is for humanity to discover. It is for humanity to utilize. And there are many secrets on the moon specifically being placed there for humanity to discover in the times ahead. It will lead to celebration. There will be times of celebration ahead relating to your discovery of what you will find on the moon. So it is therefore being prepared at this time. Okay? So that's what I'm getting through Spirit, sharing through the cards and through the message regarding the moon. So we got some very interesting information coming up there. So Mary, thank you very much for your question. Let's just go down the list. I think I have a contribution here from, there we go, from Lisa. So Lisa has a contribution here. Thank you. Lisa says, Brad, is it true that when you die, your soul can be captured by the bad guys if you go to the light? If so, what to do when transitioning? Thank you. Okay. Now, I have talked about this previously, but I'll let the cards talk about it first, and then I'll add some extra information onto it. Okay. So let's take a look at that. Is it true that when you drop your body, that the bad guys can capture your soul if you think that you're going into the light? Okay, let's take a look at that. They often refer to those as soul traps. Right? The community refers to it in that way. So let's take a look here. Okay. I'm not really getting that much. Now again, basically you have to understand that when you're looking at traps in that way, it's all based upon your perception of how things are, right? Masters will often say that the most important thought you think is the very last thought before you die. Okay? The last thought before you die, before you take your last breath, is the most important thought, because that really shows you who you are. Okay? So if a person is completely living in fear in that way, then they are going to manifest something pertaining to that, to what they see beyond their body. It's no more different than going into a dream at nighttime, okay? But there's no difference between what you're experiencing here and what you're experiencing beyond your body, okay? All it is that you're just leaving your body. You're still here, you're still you still are the personality, you still have your own behaviors, you still have your own beliefs, you still have everything representing your own characteristics. Nothing of that changes when you leave the body. Think about it, right? If we go into out-of-body experiences, because I've certainly gone into those, I'm still here. I still have everything of those things intact, okay? So some people will go into that particular type of trickery where they think that there's a soul trap and that the bad guys, as it were, is going to grab a hold of your soul and then just throw you back into the incarnation loop. They don't really have the capability of doing that, okay? So basically, in that sense, this shows exaggeration, okay? Whoever is telling you a lot of that stuff is greatly exaggerating things, okay? That's not how it works. It's all based upon if that person has a lot of personal self-sabotage within themselves, then they will create certain illusions like that, right? So if people in that sense are absolutely scared, oh my God, as soon as I die, I go into the light and I'm going to go back into the earth, into the incarnation queue. Well, because you hold that belief so strong, you're going to make something like that happen. It's because of you that happens, not because of anybody else, okay? You have to understand, when you start going back into the astral dimensions, your thoughts are instantaneously manifested, okay? So if you see a horrible situation unfolding here, but you see, okay, there's light here, and as soon as I step into that light, oh my God, I'm going to go back into a soul trap, and I'm going to incarnate on earth again. Well, you're putting all of your muster into that belief, and you're going to make something like that happen. You're your own worst enemy, okay? So this is what some people will tell you, because that's the fears that they have. Don't go into the light, it's a trap, right? And so like I said, we have to work on ourselves, okay? We have to work on clearing away a lot of that debris. It's your beliefs that make it happen. It's the muster that you put behind all of those beliefs that makes something of that nature happen. Okay? If you're completely set in that way of thinking that as soon as I leave the body and I go into a soul trap, well, then that's what you're going to experience in some form. You're making it happen. Nobody's going to contradict you. So this is why you have to realize the power of your own thinking, the power of your own feelings and your emotions. And if you use that against yourself, you'll put yourself through nightmare situations, physically, astrally, and so forth. Okay? So again, we need to self-heal. We need to heal, we need to rejuvenate ourselves. This is what the cards are telling me. Okay? So you need to work with healing a lot of those fears, because that's nothing but a fear. Guys, I've gone out of body. Okay? Didn't see a single soul trap around. Okay? You're going out of body. I see myself just floating above the earth. I'm like just completely accelerating right out of my house. And I saw myself just flying up into the sky. It was a wonderful feeling. Through that experience, I didn't experience one single soul trap whatsoever. I've even had a near-death experience, guys. Not once did I see any form of soul trap. Okay? I basically went into a white room. And that white room is the bindu. That's you going into the bindu, and it's kind of like being in a waiting queue, because Spirit wants to hold you there and say, no, it's not time for you to go yet. It's not time for you to leave this body. So you're kind of in the waiting queue until we get this stuff sorted out. So I was in this kind of white room waiting queue, and I just heard all these voices around me. Get him back, bring him back into his body, right? And then I felt myself just slam back into the body and woke up, right? It was back in 2013. I had a fever at that time. I think a bad flu as well, too. And I couldn't breathe. In the middle of the night, I was trying to breathe through my nose. My nose was completely stuffed up. Couldn't breathe, and through that lack of breath, I was actually feeling myself leave the body. But I was going into this white room. It's almost like, in the analogy I could say, is like, What's Brad doing here? He's not supposed to be here. He's not supposed to be in the white room. Get him back, right? So that's exactly what happened. And I just felt myself slam right back into the body, okay? But during that time, did I see any soul traps or anything of that nature? No, guys, because that's nothing but your own beliefs. That's nothing but your own thoughts brought into manifestation. Because if you truly believe that, well, the universe isn't going to doubt you. So, okay, well, he's obviously seeing a soul trap, so let's go ahead and show him a soul trap. Okay? Your fears are your worst enemies. And that's all this is. Has nothing to do with a bunch of reptilians putting a light around you and say, yes, come into the soul trap, blah, blah, blah. But if that's part of your belief system, then you're going to experience that. Get out of that fear. Okay? So the whole idea is rejuvenate yourself. Bring yourself back into innocence. Bring yourself back into joy. Move forward in a very positive way. Let yourself transform. Okay? So soul traps are nothing but hearsay, right? They're nothing but beliefs, right? This is where, again, comes back to this card. It's exaggeration. So as long as you believe that with every fiber of your being, then you're probably going to experience some type of soul trap. Yeah? Only because you think it's there. Only because you think, absolutely, as soon as I drop this body, I'm going to go into this soul trap and I'll reincarnate again. Well, it's your belief, so be it. Okay? You've doomed yourself. So this is why you need to get out of that fear porn garbage, right? Now, a lot of people talk about this. This is not the first time I've heard about soul traps, guys. I've been hearing about that for years, about soul traps and soul traps and soul traps. Even when I was channeling Adronis, people were asking about soul traps. You know what Adronis basically said? He said, nope, no soul traps at all. What? Really? Because I've heard about it. And said, well, that's exactly why soul traps exist, because of your beliefs. But when you're free of your beliefs, no soul traps at all. Your belief is the trap. And that's what you have to let go of. Okay? So, get out of fear. It does you no favors. Okay? Come into joy, because that's the natural resonance of who you are. All right? Thank you, Lisa. Okay, I'm just going through the list here. And I got your other contribution, Lisa. Thank you. Okay, let me just go up here a bit more. And now I'll scroll back down. Okay, here's a question here from Yolanda. Yolanda says, Brad, would you please tell what's in store for the country of Colombia and its people? Okay, so let's take a look at what is happening in Colombia right now. Let's probably look into the idea of government. Okay, government and how the people are doing and what's ahead for the people of Colombia. Okay, it feels like the pot is being stirred quite a bit in the country of Colombia. Okay, so there's a lot of people that are kind of on the defensive. They're going through preparations. They can kind of feel that change has been happening here with government, with policy, with everything like that, right? So the people are kind of aware that this is taking place. It's really not surprising me of the type of reading I'm getting, because it's pretty much the exact same thing I get for every other country that I've looked at. Okay, so people are now getting quite emotional, right? They're letting their emotions starting to run high, right? And they're starting to see that it's gonna boil over. Okay, so this is going to lead to, I feel, some protests. There's going to be maybe some protests, some rallies, some, again, taking back power to the people. Okay, they're now going to go out into the streets. There now may start to protest. There may start to be rallies. There's going to be some apprehension between the people and the government there as well too. But all in all, this is a very good thing. This is positive power to the people. So we're seeing people starting to stand up. We're starting to see people in that sense taking action into their own hands, and they're going to stand up for what they know is right. Okay, so this is what's happening currently in Colombia, and it's going to bring themselves into seeing new transitional government take place. Guys, it's pretty much happening in every single country in the world. Okay, like I said, some are quick, some are a little bit slower, right? It just depends. Some are quick as hares, some are slow as tortoises. Okay, but nonetheless, everything is going to be happening. We just recently saw how the Japanese government completely resigned their government altogether. That is a huge success. That is a huge victory. It's exactly as I've been telling you guys for months, even when I was doing New Earth Insights, right? We're seeing how the governments are resigning and transitional governments are taking their place. This is going to happen to every single country that has been under the whim of this COVID situation. Okay, so if there's been a lot of corruption surrounding that country, then this thing is going to happen as well too. You're going to notice either small or large leaders resigning, maybe they have COVID, whatever, okay, and they're going to be stepping down. And then there's going to be new leaders being put into place that are going to be working together in the alliance of counterforces. Okay, the exact same thing is going to happen to Colombia. Okay, with every single other country I've seen, like I said, I haven't really seen a breaking away of this pattern. Okay, we're seeing it. Like I said, some places are slow. Some countries may take a little bit more time than others, but it's all happening. It's all the same. Okay, it's going to happen to Canada. It's going to happen to the U.S. It's going to happen to, the Western world. It's going to happen to the Eastern world. Right? Every country. It may span still quite a few months down the road at least, but every country is really going to see transformation taking place within their own governments, within their own policies. Everything is going to shift tremendously because now we're seeing a new government coming into place. Right? And as that happens, the financial system starts changing. Everything starts changing. Educational systems start changing. Political systems start changing. Mainstream media will start to change. Right? All of it is going to be flushed out, especially as we get into 2023, because 2023 represents a reset. Okay, it's the year of reset. It's the year of renewal. It's the year of revaluation. That's what's going to be happening in 2023. So we're probably going to see a lot more countries doing that. We may even start to see, it might take a couple of years, but we also may start to see countries going independent as well too. So we're seeing a very powerful, transformative new world being birthed here. This is great news, guys. Like I said, we have to go through this. It's kind of like a woman going through transitional labor, right? She's going through intense pain, but as all that pain is happening, we're welcoming a new life into the world. Well, that's exactly what's been happening to us. We've been going into that intense labor, and it's really excruciating. But look at what happens at the end. We birth a new consciousness. We birth a new world. And that's what's happening to the planet. Okay? Everything that you see here on the mainstream media, everything pertaining to fears and to lies and to scandals and all that stuff, that's all superficial. That's all just leading us, again, just bearing down and taking some pushes so that a new life can come upon the planet. That's exactly what's taking place right now. Okay? So thank you very much, Yolanda, for your question. Okay. So this one here is from Sultan, and it's another country question. So Sultan says, hello, Brad. What is happening in Bangladesh politically? Are there any white hat operations going on here? Will there be any change soon? Okay, so let's take a look at Bangladesh. Okay, so yeah, it looks like they're going through some very powerful, significant changes as well too. So again, they may try to take things up to the extremes, right? Like I said, guys, when they take things up to the extremes, it's kind of a twofold thing. One of the two things is that there's still some dark cabal activity there, and they're trying to move it up to extremes because they're on the brink of defeat, or number two, that this is actually a counterforce operation, and they're using that particular type of extreme to get people to stand up and take their power back. Okay, so in the past, this has represented Bangladesh. It looks like there's been some breakthroughs, some very big changes that have significantly happened behind the scenes. It's still indicating that there's a little bit of an uphill climb, but things have been moving in the right direction. Okay, the sun is on your side. Everything that has been happening probably in the last couple of months has all been part of working together with the people of Bangladesh to again stand up, right, to see things change, to see the governments change as well too. Okay, So it looks like there's been some, this is happening presently, okay? It looks like there's been some standing up, some people in that sense ready to take no more, just like I was talking about with Colombia, okay? People getting ready to stand up, people being able to take their power back. Looks like the counter forces are coming in, and they're basically just wiping clean everything pertaining to the old powers. Looks like the old powers may be going through some trials right now, okay? They may have actually already been apprehended. They may have already gone through trials. They're already seeing their entire empire defeated, okay? This is what's happening now, guys. I'm trying to find the best words to put this. Every country is under this right now, okay? We have different intensities. We have different extremes with different countries. But like I said, some countries will be moving slowly and some quickly. But it looks like a lot of the leaders have been rounded up and they're already being processed. They're already being put through tribunals. Some of them have actually may have been executed, okay? So behind the scenes, here we go, guys. There is nothing out of any country that I have looked at. Nothing says, no, this country is doomed. It's going to fall to the cabal. It has no chance of ever getting back up again. It's completely finished. I have never had that for a single country. Okay? I'm constantly getting these kind of cards. I'm getting the Page of Pentacles, right? This is showing renewal. This is showing new birth. This is showing transformation. This is showing transition. Okay? In the near future, like I said, I think we're going to see a lot of the old powers completely dissolve altogether. Okay? People are going to take a stand up. I think they're going to be pushed. I think they're going to be pushed with a lot of these extremes that they're trying to do. And as they get pushed, here comes justice, right? So justice is coming in and just putting an end to all of this. So you may have some more extreme situations coming in that are just trying to light a fire under the people so that they stand up, and then again, the counterattack takes place and the governments get dissolved and transitional governments take their place. Exactly the same thing, like what's going to happen for Colombia is going to happen to Bangladesh. It's the same pattern. Okay, guys, I don't care where you are in the world. Your country is going to go through this pattern. Okay? They're really just kind of stoking the fire. They're getting all of this intensity and saying, oh yeah, we're going to do lockdowns, we're going to enforce vaccinations, etc., blah, 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 right? People start getting really PO'd about this. They take to the streets, and that's all part of it. It's all just part of disclosure, right? Even when they're saying this stuff, they don't realize that trying to broadcast this stuff and publicize it is basically an instant doom. Why do you think the counter forces let that happen? As soon as they get to the point where they're starting to threaten people and starting to elevate the policies and the restrictions and all of that, they're doomed, right? So this is what we're seeing, guys. We're seeing the complete and total dismantling, takedown, and self-destruction of the old ways, of the old cabal, of the old guard. All of it's being taken down, right? They have destroyed themselves by pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, and people getting more angry and people getting more angry and people wanting to stand up and take action. Well, believe me, action is being taken. But this, again, like I said, is that there needs to be a type of critical mass that needs to come together to wake people up so that when they see these transitional governments taking place, just like we've seen with the UK, just like we're seeing with Japan, really is no surprise. Saying, well, with all the stuff that's been happening, I wouldn't be surprised that their government's going through a major transition, that there's been government shutdowns, that there's going to be transitions taking place. You see, this is now completely acceptable to the common man, woman, and child. If we just do it right out of the blue, people are like, what's going on? What's going on here, right? And they start to get panicky. But if we let this sit for a little while, and we just watch this stuff escalate more and more, and now we see these governments resigning, and we're seeing people being taken out of power, it's like, oh, good. Well, good. It's about time. It's about time. Okay? That's the reaction we want. That causes no interruption in regards to the flow of things, so that humanity can continue to operate on transitioning systems levels. Okay? It's exactly why these things have had to stew for quite some time. It had to be, in that sense, a point of critical mass, where people are just commonly saying, I've had enough of this stuff, man. I've had enough with going to the border and using some stupid app and, constantly being reminded of I've been vaccinated and all this stuff. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of these restrictions. I'm tired of these mandates. I'm tired of all of these things, and I'm ready for it to be taken down. Okay, we got to let it stew for a little bit longer. Get more people angry. get more people upset about this. Now that people are starting to feel that anger and that apprehension over the planet, we have no problem with now saying, okay, governments are now being transitioned. They're now being shut down. People are losing their power. They're being taken down. And they're going to be replaced. Now people are like, good, let's do that. Let's do that. You see? This is why you cannot be hasty in trying to do these things, because too many people will panic. What's happening? Is our government going to be next? What's going to happen? Oh my God, are we going to be able to live? What's happening? What are we going to do without a government? Blah, blah, blah. But when they see how corrupt the governments have been all over the world, are like, yeah, they're being taken down. Yeah, they're being transitioned. Get them out of there. See? That's the reaction we want. That's the reaction that's happening all across every single country on the planet that has been affected by the COVID agenda. Okay? That's what's going to happen. It's the same pattern. I've looked at dozens and dozens and dozens of countries, guys. It's all the same pattern. All the time. Doesn't matter where you are. Brad, what about Sweden? What about Switzerland? What about Norway? What about Germany? What about Russia? What about Serbia? What about Croatia? What about Venezuela? What about Brazil? What about Argentina? What about Mexico? What about Costa Rica? Right? Throw any other country you want there in the hat. Okay? All the same, 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 all the same. Just again, going at their own pace and then through their own extremes. Okay? But it is inevitable that countries will start shifting into a new transitional government, and that all of this is coming to an end. And we'll certainly start to see that as we come closer to the end of the year and move into 2023. Okay? So Sultan, thank you very much for your question, my friend. Blessings. All right, let's move on. Okay. There's an interesting question here from NM. Question, will we be able to send money from the USA and Russia easily? What will be relationships between these two countries? So guys, I want you to pull out a map right now. I want you to go to Google Maps, and I want you just to look in between Alaska and Russia. Look how close they are. They're like, what, 50 miles apart? If it was truly that bad, guys, do you think that we'd still be in a situation, right? From east of Russia, could just come right over to Alaska and start raiding things. It's not happening. Guys, all of this is a bunch of official narrative gunk. Okay? It's all just narrative. It's all just story. It's all just life movie. That's all it is. But we'll take a look at it, nonetheless, about being able to send money from the USA and Russia in that sense, right? If it was really so bad and the USA really wanted to flex their muscle, well, there you go. You'd start in Alaska, and then you go to Russia. You're 50 miles away approximately. Okay? That's why all this stuff, guys, is a bunch of nonsense. It's a bunch of soap opera drama. Okay? But let's take a look at that. Will we be able to send money from the USA to Russia easily? And what will be the relationships with these two countries? So we'll kind of look at an outcome reading for this one. So basically, in that sense, regarding tough relations, is that's only what's on the television. Okay? So in that sense, there's still a strong relationship with all countries in that sense. They still work together with each other. They still work with trade. This, again, is what you're seeing on the stage, right? On the stage. How should we feel about Russia and the United States, or Russia and Canada, or anybody else, right? They're giving us this state of confusion, again, just to create more and more discord, thinking that Russia are the bad guys, and let's try and get all the alliances of countries together and stop them, etc. Because like I said, when you're looking at the Khazarian mafia, Russia has been their enemy for centuries. I've actually done an expose on this a few months back about Russia and about Khazaria, that we would often now know as modern-day Ukraine. Okay, so again, Russia has been like a blood enemy of the Khazarian mafia for centuries. And they would do absolutely anything possible to smear them, to try and make sure that no country aligns with them or anything of that nature, because Russia is just repeating history pertaining to the Khazarian mafia, taking them down just as they did 8 centuries ago. Okay, so this is the whole idea here, is we're seeing powerful new thought, we're seeing powerful new change, we're seeing a revelation taking place pertaining to trade and country relationships as well too. Okay, so no, it's not really going to affect, from what I can tell. Like I said, there may be some confusion, beliefs about the idea of sending money to Russia. They're trying to encourage people not to do that, because they're warmongers and this and that and the other thing, right? But it looks like, again, there's still, this is still representing a currency card as well too. Still looks like currency is happening between the Russia and the United States in that sense, and that countries are still doing business as usual. Okay, but I think there may be some changes in regards to how that business goes about, because they don't really want to play around with funny money anymore. They don't want to play around with fiat currency anymore. And this is why there's going to be a lot more gold and silver-backed intentions behind trade, right? So they're basically sticking the middle finger out to the people that have been using funny money, fiat money, right, through these countries like the United States, and saying, no, if you want to trade with us, you need to actually have some solid assets, right? So that is certainly what's changing. But no, in the meantime, looks like everything is still as it is pertaining to country trading, right? But it is basically attempting to weed out the funny money and basically ending the Babylonian magic money system that has been running out through this planet for a very long time as well too. That's looking to be faded out as well. So that's certainly in progress. Okay? Thank you very much, NM. Okay, J. Rose gave me a donation. Thank you for the healing on my husband, Bob. Great. I hope he feels well. So take care of each other. Thank you very much. Okay, let's go down the list here a bit more. Okay, here's a question here from Moya. I think it was regarding the meditation that she did, perhaps. Thank you, Brad and Infinite Intelligence. Could you explain what a breeze... Okay, just had to take a moment here, guys. OBS Studio was disconnecting and reconnecting as well, too. Seems to happen quite often, right? When I'm saying things about these, I'm getting into these political questions, right? This seems to happen quite a bit. It's not that YouTube is shutting down or anything like that, but my OBS starts malfunctioning, right? So I'm saying things that maybe some people don't like, but too bad. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. So again, Moya, if you didn't get that, basically when you're feeling a breeze on the left, like I said, part of this can also represent Kundalini at times. Okay, when we're getting a breeze on the body, like I said, it can also represent the idea of something lifting, something transitioning. But if we're feeling a cool breeze, that can often be the effect of Kundalini. Okay, Kundalini creates a cool breeze when you're feeling it, when you're feeling into it, especially when you're just starting to open up Kundalini through the body. That cool breeze, especially on the left side, okay, so that would represent the Ida Nadi over here, okay? If that's opening up with Kundalini, then you're going to feel the Kundalini intelligence as a cool breeze. So you may have had a Kundalini experience as of late, okay? That's quite a possibility as well, too. Why don't I go ahead, Moya, and just take a look. Moya says actually the breeze was on the right, not the left. Okay, that's fine. Moya, why don't I go ahead and take a look at your chakras and see where you're at here. Okay. Moya, you've had a Kundalini awakening. Okay. So I feel like the Kundalini is right here at the brow. So you have had an awakening of Kundalini. I haven't worked with you, but whatever has happened, you may have had a spontaneous Kundalini awakening. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that the breeze is not on the right or the left, but we want to do it at the center. So Moya, here's what I want you to do with me right now. Okay. So hope you're still watching. I want you to take your left hand, and I want you to put it under the right armpit. I want you to take your right hand, and I want you to put it under the left armpit. Okay? And just hold it there for a couple of minutes. Okay? Now, if you want to speed it up a little bit more, just make your left hand a fist and put it under the armpit. Make your right hand a fist and put it under the right armpit. Now, this is a technique that is referred to as Padadharasana. What it means is breath balancing pose. And this is helping to balance out the nadis, the left and the right nostril. Okay? So again, we just hold that position again, either like this, okay, if you can see me okay, or again with both fists, we can do that here. Okay? So what that's doing is that's opening up, that's stimulating pressure points to open up the left and the right nadi channels. Okay? Now what you want to do is you want to make sure that your breath is even. So you want to make sure that the left nostril and the right nostril are flowing evenly. Okay? One should not be stronger than the other. So we want to make sure that the breath is flowing well. What I'm going to do, Moya, is I'm just going to go down to the bottom of the chat in case you want to respond to me. Okay? So Moya, just go ahead and go down to the bottom of the chat and just let me know, because as I'm feeling through the Kundalini, you've had a Kundalini awakening. But we don't want the Kundalini to the right or to the left. That skews you. Okay? So this is why we want to firstly just breathe through the left and right nostrils. Okay? And just make sure the breath is even. So Moya, what I want you to do is I want you to drop me an email. Okay? I'm probably not going to have time to do this right now in the live chat, but just email me, info@newearthteachings.org, or go to newearthteachings.com, go to the contact page, and I want you to contact me, okay? And just let me know when your breath is balanced on the left and the right nostrils. And what I'll do is I'll work with your Kundalini and make sure it gets centered, okay? So we're going to clean out the chakras, and we're going to clean out the nadis as well too, to make sure that your Kundalini is balanced. We do not want Kundalini on the left or right side, okay? That's a big no-no. And it looks like it's on your right side. So that is an imbalance. So we want to correct the Kundalini, okay? So again, Moya, contact me when you can, and we'll look into that deeper, okay? Thank you. All right. Let me just go down the list here a bit more. We've got about 10 minutes, guys, so I'll probably take a couple more questions. Okay, here's another question from Mary again, because she reposted it. She said, who are the cedar race, Brad? Okay, well, the cedar race, and this is S-E-E-D-E-R, okay? It's not a cedar race, as it is a group, okay? So I've talked about this in the past as well, too, through channeling, right? Adronis has talked about this quite a bit. We commonly refer to them as the Anunnaki, or you could refer to them as the Elohim in that way. But they don't represent a particular group, or sorry, a particular race, but they represent a group. There's a group of them, okay? Within our genetics is 22 different extraterrestrial races, okay? That doesn't come from a single group. That doesn't come from a single civilization, but that comes from a large group. It's kind of like a confederation, okay? So we do not really have one particular cedar race responsible for the development of humankind, okay? One race may have, in that sense, volunteered for it, but other contributors needed to come together. Now, basically, if we were to look at the ancient Anunnaki in that way, I'm not talking about the ones that Zecharia Sitchin has written about, because those are not the true ones. Okay, the true Anunnaki themselves aren't even on our plane anymore. They're not even in this dimension. Okay, but they were one of the cedars for humanity. Okay, and they may have been kind of like the overseers of the project, but in that sense, they're no longer here. They're no longer incarnate into this physical dimension. Right, so they have basically reached a type of ascension where they're, again, in non-physicality. Okay, so we may never meet those particular beings in the physical, but if you basically go into out-of-body states and you have matured yourself, and if you've gone into higher states of realization, a lot of that information will come to you. So let me just see what Spirit has to share regarding that. The cedar races that you have termed represent the idea of the organization and compartmentalization of particular creator gods that were assisting in the propagation of humanity, particularly for this planetary experiment. There are, again, a number of these groups that do number in 22. And that these groups are meant to be hidden at this time because it is not appropriate for you to be aware of their identities until the time draws closer where humanity as a matured civilization will therefore be able to meet these groups in larger capacity. Many of them are behind the scenes, and there are those in that sense that are the originators, to which we could term as the original overseers that assisted in the propagation of humanity's creation that are no longer present within your physical plane. But this information is very much kept secret at this time, for it is too soon to reveal this information in its appropriate accuracy to humanity when you are still moving through your own trials and tribulations of development and maturity, and at the point to where maturity itself will bring itself forward to your civilization. More answers about the origins of your being will come. But right now, it is, as it would be said, under lock and key. Okay? It's not meant for really us to see this right now. Okay, it's a little too soon. But like I said, there may be those who may have an idea, but we really don't know these civilizations in that way. Some of us may have ideas, but we don't really have, in that sense, direct contact, so to speak, with the seed planters that were responsible for the creation of humanity. Okay, like I said, we can see them kind of as like the Anunnaki or the Elohim or something of that nature, but we still don't really know who they are. Okay, and Zecharia Sitchin's work is not telling you the original creators. Okay, those are the imposter races. Those are not the true creators of humanity. Okay, so again, they're functioning as vessels. You could say again, truly God is the creator of humanity. But again, in regards to a lot of how our bodies were put together, it's a big secret. A lot of it needs to be kept under wraps right now until humanity moves much more into a collective evolution of maturity, to where a lot more of the detail pertaining to that information will be revealed. Okay, so it's very much under lock and key right now. Okay, thank you, Mary, for your question. But 22 races, yes. That's basically the level of contribution, the number of contributors. This is why I say it's about a group, not a civilization. Okay. Okay, here's one from Alina. Alina says, Brad, the big fire of petroleum tanks that happened in Cuba the last days with many people injured, was that intentional or was it accidental? Okay, let's take a look here. Okay, this feels like it was a staged plan. It feels like a staged ploy, because this is really the behind-the-scenes card right here. So if it did happen, right, it was planned, or even if it happened at all, it may not even actually been something that actually happened. It's hard to say, because there's an illusion card right there, right? So there's some deception behind the scenes here in that sense. So to me, it feels like just some type of alibi that may have been used pertaining to the idea of maybe some sort of deal with Cuba or something of that nature. But it feels like it was kind of like a joint operation in that way. Okay, it was actually something pretty good though. Whatever it was basically trying to avert a disaster. So it may have been some type of attempt. Like I said, if it's even real, right? It looks like there's some type of deception or illusion that's happening here. So it looks like the counter forces have basically sanitized whatever was going on. Okay. But it looks like there is some sort of foul play or, again, delusion or illusion happening behind the scenes. Not too sure if they're just taking footage of other events and putting that into this. But it looks like everything from what needed to happen there is being contained, and it's averted something, right? So this is representing the idea that something drastic has been averted. So I'm not too sure if they're just using old footage and trying to mistake that as, oh, this is recently happening in that sense. Some of it feels very phony and very fake. But whatever was attempting to happen pertaining to Cuba, maybe a deal or something like that taking place, fell through. So my feeling is that it was an interception that was preventing some type of bad situation to manifest. But it feels like something fake on the surface. So whatever their news reports are about Cuba, about the petroleum fire, this may not be true, right? It's something that we have to kind of look into a little bit more. Okay, so that's what I'm getting pertaining to Cuba and the petroleum fire. Okay, or the big fire of the petroleum tanks. Yeah. It may have been in that sense of completely crippling part of the armada of the dark forces. Okay, they may have had some holdouts in Cuba as well too, and this may have been a way of diffusing any efforts of them trying to put any schemes together, right, to basically maybe threaten the country or threaten neighboring countries or anything of that nature. So this was maybe something that was diffused, but like I said, whatever the narrative is that's being told, it feels like it's quite illusionary. Okay, that's what I'm getting. Thank you, Alina. Okay. So guys, I think we'll take one or two more questions and we're going to wrap up. So this one here is just underneath Alina's question. It's Sylvia. Sylvia says, when group spirits are helping you to reveal something, were you part of that grouping in a past life? It's a good question. Good question, Sylvia. Now, we can call spirits spirits, but really it just comes down to one, as we know. Okay? But I get an idea of what you're trying to say. Now, basically, when you have interventions coming in, and this is basically what I say, you can look at it like guides or contacts or anything of that nature. When they're helping you to get something revealed to you, yes, they basically have let's say they have a cooperation with you. Okay? It's just all part of it. It's not about the idea, guys, of drawing straws. Okay, here's one spirit guide who's got the longest straw. Okay, well, you got to go deal with him. Ah, crap. It's not like that, okay? When you're looking at a lot of your guides, they are you, right? They are who you are, okay? Again, we have to look in the idea that the center point is you, and that everything that's happening in life is yourself at the same time. And so when these guides, these helpers come together with you, they are what you would consider to be more greater realized facets of yourself that are trying to help you, to move you into the greater realization, to help rectify something that has happened. Not so much in a past life, right? We get into the past life stuff a lot. And it's true, right? We do have other simultaneous lifetimes. But it's more so helping you to resolve something of a tendency that's occurring to you right now, right? This life is the most important life to look at. I don't care if you've had lifetimes in Egypt or Germany or Greece or Atlantis or Lemuria or anything like that. That doesn't matter. Okay, those are just memories. But those memories in that sense are giving you a hint about what you are going through in this lifetime. So it is this lifetime that counts the most, right? Where you are right here, right now. And when you see a lot of these struggles taking place, yes, you will certainly have friends, family, or again, as I would say, your kind of soul facets coming to you to helping you avert that, to helping you release that, to let it go, okay? Because you're not getting the hint. You're just constantly looking. So, well, why did this happen? Why did that happen? What about this story here? What about this story that I had happen here in Atlantis, where I was burning people to death and I burned to death and blah, blah, blah. You're getting too hung up on the story and you're letting intellect distract you. And so sometimes you may have your higher facets coming to you and saying, get your head out of those stories. That's not important. Just start working on releasing. Release, release, release. And let this go, let this go, let this go. Surrender. And as you surrender, you drop the bags. Now you open the bags, you open the covers, and now all that stuff can fly out. And all that stuff that's flying out is what we call releasing. Okay? So basically we work with a 3 key principle: awareness, surrender, release. Okay? So we are aware of the situation that we're going through. We surrender to that situation. We're not trying to boil it over like a pot of boiling water here. Saying, oh my God, this happened to me, and then this person did this to me, and then I lost my money, and then I lost my job, and then I lost my house, and etc., etc. And we get too caught up in the melodrama of the story. And it's not about that. It's just surrender. Drop the bags. Surrender, surrender, surrender. Now that you've dropped the bags, zip them open, open the covers, and let everything in those bags fly away with the wind. And that's you releasing all of this, right? So that is really the most important thing that your helpers, that your higher realized facets are telling you. It's just you telling yourself. It's God telling you, okay? That's the idea. So therefore, yes, they're trying to help you to go free because you're just getting too caught up in the stories. We got to get our head out of the stories. Stories don't matter. Okay? Just realize what's happening. Be aware of how you feel. Be aware of the thought that's there, and clear away all of that inflammation surrounding that thought by surrendering and by releasing. We do this in prana transmission technique. Okay? And all of that flies away. And now you're free of it, 100%. I feel amazing. I feel wonderful. Thank you to my guides. Thank you to my higher realized facets that are helping me. Okay? So yes, they are certainly involved because they are you, right? Of course, the entire world is involved with you, right? When someone breaks a dish, we broke the dish. When someone's car breaks down, our car has broken down, right? When someone loses their house, we've lost our house. Okay? You're looking at all these things in oneness, in interconnection. That's how you're really going to flourish yourself a lot more. When you get out of this mentality of looking at things from a separate self perspective, and you start looking at things in wholeness, you start looking at things as God, because that's who you are. Okay? So, prana transmission technique, that too will help you. If your guides are helping you, then please do them a favor and listen to what they're trying to tell you. Okay? Your guides, your higher facets, listen to them. Okay? Thank you for your question. Okay, guys, we're going to take one more question. We're going to wrap up after that. Actually, we're going to do a spirit message after the last question, then we're going to wrap up. Okay, I got some new dating site thing here. What's up with that? Let me go ahead and remove that person. Okay. The things that come on these chats. Okay. Brenda says, Brad, on the one hand, I really appreciate you and your messages. On the other hand, I'm sorry, but you drive me nuts when you stay stuck on one topic for minutes. We aren't stupid. Well, Brenda, that's your own issue you have to take care of. That's not my problem. Okay? That's something that you're dealing with, and you have to look into that, right? If anything a person is doing that's driving you nuts, you're the one that's going nuts, not that person. That has nothing to do with the person. So in a way, that's me doing a favor for you, helping you to see something that's driving you nuts that you need to learn to release. It's not my problem, okay? If I'm staying on a topic for several minutes, it's because I'm going into a greater elaboration, okay? Some people may not like it, but there are those who do, okay? Me being one of them, I like it, okay? So in the best way I can say this respectfully, too bad, right? Has nothing to do with me. I'm not responsible for your insecurities, okay? So if you're getting in the habit of releasing, that's something you got to release. Has nothing to do with a person. If you point a finger at a person and say, oh, this person does this and I don't like their habit that they're doing, that person hasn't done anything wrong. It's you, right? You have the problem, and you have to be the one to resolve that problem. All right? Let's go down here. Let me see if I can actually maybe go back up. Okay. Yeah, Jaden asked the question, I feel a breeze on my body when I meditate as well, but I don't think it's Kundalini. I think it is, Jaden. I think it is. When you have a cool breeze coming across the body, that is often Kundalini. Okay, 99.9% of the time, that's Kundalini rising. Okay, you will feel it as a breeze. You can feel it as a tingling. You can feel it as a very intense sensation as well. Everybody's different. Okay, especially when you meditate, you can actually awaken Kundalini, right? Even if you're going through your daily regime, you may notice that all of a sudden a cool breeze comes across you. Maybe you didn't feel anything else intensely, but that is the call sign, quite commonly, of a cool breeze. Sometimes, yeah, it can be the idea that we're lifting something out, that we're purging something. If we're doing some release work, we can kind of feel a cool breeze with that too. But like I said, 99.9% of the time, it has to do with Kundalini. All right? So it might just be something for you to look into. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can find one last question we can end on. Then I'll do a message from Spirit. So maybe I'll move it further up here. Okay, I think I'll take one here from Carl. Carl says, Brad, in Indonesia, we have very extreme COVID vax life restrictions on the population. Any change in the cards? All right, let's take a look. Okay, so when it comes to Indonesia and about how things are going, of course, we're seeing some quite a bit of difficulty here in the past, right? I think people just want to see that can we just get this over with? Can we finish this right now with what's happening in Indonesia? And saying, not yet. There's something that's going to lead to a triggering event that will lead to a climax of this situation. But we're seeing in the present moment right now, things are flipping around. So even if things look bad, Carl, looks like things are starting to turn around. The wheel's spinning in the other direction here right now. So like I said, I think you guys are just noticing some takedowns. I'm seeing, like, again, I think that they're just trying to rev up the people a lot more, right? So this is, in that sense, kind of what's the hope or the fear situation, right? People are getting pretty fearful, pretty distressed about a lot of these things that are taking place pertaining to ramping up the restrictions and COVID demands and all that, okay? But like I said, it's going to lead to people trying to get more people out there and saying, come on, we got to rev these up. We need people to take action. We need people to go out into the streets. They need to start protesting. They need to start rallying. They need to start working together. Okay. So in Indonesia, it feels like they're just trying to light a fire under you guys quite a bit. Okay. Once that happens, then we could say basically the game will be over for the cabal altogether. Okay. It's one of their strong points is Indonesia as well too. And of course, we have everything balancing here. We're going to see things being balanced out. And so I see this probably happening in the next couple of months. Like I said, guys, it's been a white-hot summer. Okay? So Indonesia, there again, if there's that intensity that's flaring up pertaining to what's taking place in that country, about restrictions and all of that, that's all part and parcel of great changes happening. Okay? So I don't think Indonesia is going to continue on with those restrictions for much longer. Yes, we got an intense summer to come, but we're going to see some of those situations, especially in Indonesia, come to an end. It's the same pattern, once again, right? So I don't need to go into that, but it is the same pattern. So Indonesia is going to be going through some significant changes here, I think, as we get into the end of the summer and the beginning of the fall time. All right. So thank you guys for your questions today. We're going to go ahead now and end with Spirit message. Okay, so like I said, I'm not channeling, I'm just letting Spirit come through and just share a message with everyone here. It is time for you to all realize that your hearts are filled with resolution and that you are bringing yourselves further and further into a greater transformation and unification of humanity that is about to show itself. Do not ride on the wings of suppression. Do not ride on the wings of that which you feel is predictable and preconceived. Open yourself up to the new beginning. Seeing your heart unfold like a flower, watching the light spill out, and letting everything that has represented disaster and chaos and disharmony, let it all fly out, just like the suitcase, that you open the cover and you let everything fly out. Your world is going through significant changes. It is going through a major cleanup time. So it is no more different than like watching your own body fight a virus. This virus will put up a fight, but the defenses of the body is so much more grand that the virus really doesn't stand a chance. And that's what you're seeing right now on the earth. You yourselves are the white blood cells. And you're seeing these multitudes of different viruses throughout your countries of the world starting to show itself. You're seeing the blight that is arising. But the white blood cells are being called to action. And when you listen, you will know exactly what you need to do. And the white blood cells are now going to completely extinguish the viruses that have been upon this planet for a very, very, very long time. You still do not realize about how powerful this magnificence of change is. You still don't realize that you have actually asked for all of these changes, and that's what's taking place. We want a world of peace. We want a world where everybody gets along. We want a world of equality. We want to have brother and sister humanity holding hands together. And we want this new world. That's exactly what you're getting. But you have to go through these intensities because you have to see exactly why you have not had such a world until you are now starting to see these transitions right now. You have to see why such a world that you really want has been suppressed. And now you're realizing it. Now you're seeing it from country to country, from nation to nation. You're seeing how the corrupt has kept everything representing peace, equality, joy, brother and sister humanity holding hand in hand. You're now seeing how that has been suppressed. The wolf is now showing itself as it unzips the costume of the sheep. You're seeing it now. It's in plain sight. And the way for you to move forward in this way is to work together with your own people that you are in complete and total coherence with. What you call the soul tribes. Standing up together, working together, not feeling that you have to do this all alone. Because that's only what's going to create more delays. If you feel like you have to fend for yourself and you don't trust anybody, then you are only feeding the problem and not the solution. It's time to let those things die. And it's about letting yourself open your heart and let the light shine as it purges all of the debris that has kept you from having a planet that is truly unified. But you are moving in that direction right now. The viruses still have to be defeated. And the white blood cells are being called to defeat them. Just remember that you too are those white blood cells. Work together. Support each other. Help each other. Do not battle each other. Clean yourself up. Clean yourself out. Remember that the world is exactly as you see it, because nobody else can see the world like you do. And it's all about being able to look into these shifts that are taking place so that you can clean yourself from the inside out and see the world as it truly is, because it is nothing like you see on your television. It is nothing like you see on your internet or your radio or your newspapers or anything of that nature. That is the false world that has been put over your eyes as a blanket. Clean yourself up, clean yourself out, and take that blanket off, and now you will see what the true world is. Because you have decided to be responsible for yourself, and you have cleaned yourself up, now you can function as that powerful white blood cell that is helping to extinguish corruption and enable the unified planet that you want to have, bringing it into fruition. Okay. So thank you, everybody, for joining me for today's New Earth TV Live. Again, I'll be back next week, next Friday, at 11 a.m. Pacific Time, 2 p.m. Eastern. Thank you for tuning in today, and I'll speak to you again in another perspective of the now. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaskar. Be well. Thank you very much for checking out the New Earth Teachings YouTube channel. Feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And you can check out the websites, newearthteachings.com, where you can order a private session, 3 questions by email, EQ method, and a lot more. And you can also check out healingcodecards.com, where you can grab your mind deck, your body deck, and of course the brand new Body Deck Special Edition. All of these are available in digital editions as well. And you can also get a shirt just like this through healingcodeshop.com, where you can experience the healing codes in apparel form. So feel free to check out these websites. Thank you so much, and I'll speak to you again in the next video. Be well.